If you are trying to see if the Baby Brezza is worth it, I'm going to go over 3 things that I often see reviews miss that I see in clinic as a pediatric nurse practitioner and an IBCLC. Because while we all know the Baby Brezza is very convenient, there are a few things that we need to do to ensure that our babies are staying safe. The Baby Brezza Formula Pro is an automated machine that makes your baby's formula for you. You load the water, you load the powdered formula, and then you find the settings for your baby's formula, you press a button, you choose the temperature, and then it makes the formula for you. So many families love it because it is so convenient. So rather than you hand mixing every single bottle, shaking it, and maybe there's bubbles, you literally press a button and it dispenses the formula for your baby. What used to take a few minutes takes you a few seconds. And we all know that when we have a crying baby, that those few seconds, they really matter. So while we all know that it's convenient, there are some safety concerns that I've seen personally that give me a little bit of pause. The Baby Brezza is considered safe for healthy full-term babies, but here are a few safety concerns that I've heard about in clinic. The first one I've seen multiple times with families that I work with, and that is that a baby is formula fed, but they're not gaining weight. And then when we go and we dive into it a little bit more, we find out their Baby Brezza is not actually dispensing as much formula powder that it should be dispensing. So the nutrients and the formula is diluted. The second is the risk of harm to your baby if it is not cleaned meticulously. I have heard accounts of people having mold in their Baby Brezza because the water sits there for too long or the powder sits there for too long. The third concern that I see is that it does not get hot enough to kill any potential bacteria that's in the formula. So if a baby is immune compromised or is under 2 months, it's not prepared as recommended by the CDC. Now, these sound scary, but there are ways to make sure your baby is safe, and the majority of families never experience these issues at all. The first thing that I want families to do is make sure that enough powder is being dispensed. So there is a way that you can have it dispense the powder without the water, and then you can use some kind of receptacle, weigh the receptacle beforehand, and then you can see how much powder is being dispensed. Compare that to what the scoop is on the formula can that you use. If you don't have a kitchen scale, you can always make a bottle the same amount with powder and then compare it. So do they look the same? Is one see-through while the other one looks more opaque? If so, there might be an issue with what it is dispensing. The next thing I want to talk about is always using clean water. So we want to make sure that the water source that you're using is clean. Third is I want to make sure that you are cleaning your Baby Brezza meticulously. So it's not one of those baby items where you're like, oh, I might clean it like this by the recommendations, or maybe not. Now, this is one that you need to clean meticulously because there have been issues with cleanliness before and it has harmed babies. I would also be very reluctant to buy something used because you just never know what the person that you bought it from if they were following all the instructions too. Is there anyone that I don't recommend using the Baby Brezza for? That is the babies that are premature, have weakened immune systems, or under 2 months. I just want you to talk to your pediatric provider and get their opinions because while some pediatric providers may think it's totally fine, others may not recommend it. If you're looking for a less expensive, maybe a little bit less convenient way to make formula, you can consider the pitcher method. This is when you boil all the water for the formula that you're going to need for 24 hours and you make it in bulk and then you put it in the refrigerator and you dispense it as you need it. The downside is that, of course, it's going to be in the refrigerator, so the water is going to be cold, though it is okay for you to feed cold bottles to your baby, and it isn't as convenient as just pressing a button. But it is an option and does save money from the Baby Brezza. So is the Baby Brezza worth it? It really depends on the family. If you are someone who will do all the checks to make sure your baby is getting enough formula and that it is safe and clean, I'd say go for it. A lot of families use it and love it. Now, if you are feeling like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work, then maybe you choose something like the pitcher method. It really is whatever works for your family. Make sure to hit subscribe for all of your bite-sized pieces of feeding information. Bye-bye.